GURL TauX. Every platform come to play. Catch our vibe, don't delay.
Facebook, YouTube streams, scrolling through your daily memes. Gurl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Gurl TauX is all about. Keeping it real, it's what we do. So tune in now and join our crew. Life's moving through the screen, click subscribe, don't be mean. Upbeat chatter, it's our routine. Gurl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Gurl TauX is all about. GURL TauX is who we are. Come hang with us on your tablet, phone, or screen. Anywhere Gurl TauX can be seen. Gurl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Gurl TauX is all about. Update stories, laugh and cry. It's Gurl TauX, so don't question why. It's the show that you'll adore. Come back daily to get some more. Gurl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Gurl TauX is all about. GURL TauX is who we are. Come hang with us on your tablet, phone, or screen. Anywhere Gurl TauX can be seen. Gurl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Gurl TauX is all about. GURL TauX, log in now, watch our show. Likes and comments, let them flow. Every day we're on our way. Gurl Talk Show is here to stay. Gurl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Gurl TauX is all about.
Hello. Okay, so apparently today is Thursday, not yesterday. So I just want to clarify that apparently I had it wrong yesterday, saying Thursday all day when it was not Thursday. It was Wednesday. So today is apparently Thursday. And another clerical error or clarification is when I was talking about the bimbo Barbies, 62 feet above the earth, 62 miles above the earth. Just to clarify, I did watch a little bit back and I was like, no, it's not 62 feet. It's 62 miles, dum-dum. Talk about being a bimbo. Yesterday was Thursday wrap up, but it was Wednesday. It was 62 miles or 62 feet, but it was actually 62 miles. Apparently, I don't know. This definitely goes into play with what our show is today. It's continuing with our Life After 50 series. And this is Health After 50, strong body, sharp mind. Apparently yesterday was not the epitome of sharp mind, but our focus is physical and mental health after 50, staying active, managing aging, and keeping your mind sharp. I know there's a lot of little games that pop up on your phone that say, this will help keep your mind sharp, or this will help you. Whether they do or not is here nor there. What ends up happening is you end up getting caught up playing games that you don't need to be playing, like over and over. Whether they help or not, I don't really know. I know that there are a few games I play that I feel like they kind of sort of help with my memory because I have to remember the path or whatever. But that is what it is. So, our focus is on health and energy, and I'm going to give some of my own personal insights as well. But yeah, let's do some stretches. Let's do some walking in the park. I'm not going to take you to walk in the park right now. But let's think about where we're at And life after 50 doesn't mean you're dead yet, doesn't mean you have to quit, and doesn't mean you have to quit trying. I know that I see a lot of people that are in their 50s, and I'm a bit on the jealous side because they look amazing for their age. And that's another thing that you have to take into account is your own genetics and what is dealt to you, because it can take a blow on you personally, how you feel when you have to deal with something physical that is out of your control. So, welcome to Gurl TauX, where again, we always keep it real, raw, a little bit rebellious. I'm Tori, and we're rolling out this Life After 50 series. And uh, getting to the conclusion of that series, there's probably plenty more for me to add to that series, and I may do more later. But tomorrow is our final for this series, because I was doing it for a full week. And of course yesterday was Thursday wrap up of the news, but it was Wednesday. So apparently I don't know if I'm going to do wrap ups on Wednesday or Thursday now. I have to decide that. But today is all about health after 50, keeping your body strong and your mind sharp. So, I've done a lot of things in my lifetime, and some of those things gave me discipline, but also some of those things broke me down a little bit, broke my body down some. So I'm paying for those things, like my time as a soldier in the military, as in the army, being a law enforcement officer, being a medic. Some of those things take a toll on your body as well. But they did teach me discipline. And like I've said before on here, the 6 P's: prior planning prevents piss poor performance. But let me tell you, age doesn't have to slow you down. It doesn't mean slowing down. It means getting smarter. We're talking fitness, brain health, tackling those aches and pains. You hear things that when you get up in the morning or you get out of bed and you're like, wow, where did that come from? I've never heard that sound before. And of course, we'll have our dear Margaret up first. Then we'll dive into the rest of it. And let's get moving. Let's get our bodies moving. Let's get our minds moving. Let's get sharp again. There are lots of women. If I could pull up, and I'm not going to, but if I could pull up women in their 50s that are actresses or actors, because they don't want to be called actresses, you see a different variety, because women that are in that world, acting and whatnot, I think they have a little bit of an advantage, because they quite often are people that have trainers, they have chefs, they have people who can make life a little easier for them, and they can make life not so difficult in the aging process, as far as transferring to some of the things the rest of us have to deal with. I don't have a personal chef. I don't have a personal masseuse. I don't have a personal trainer. If I did, things might be a lot different for me. So I am talking about this on the level of the real world, real people, and how we deal with the aging process and what we are going through. What is important is health after 50. It's not about chasing a 20-year-old you. I'm not talking about a guy to date or a girl to date. It's not about chasing the 20-year-old you. You don't have to be 20 still, but you can age gracefully. You can also age with a little bit of rebellion. That's okay. It's about being the best you are now. And as a veteran, shooting guns for many, many years of my life, since I was 8 years old, the one thing I learned about shooting guns and gun safety, as well as it working for you, is you have to take care of it. If you don't clean your weapon, you don't oil your weapon, you don't take it apart and get into the guts and clean it out and make sure it's nice and removed from all the debris, all the gunk that gets in it. If you don't do that, it's not going to stay working well. So you have to stay mindful of that with your own body. You know, in order to stay sharp, you've got to keep taking care of things. You've got to hone it. Whether it's shooting a gun somewhere or your health, you have to take care of it. You have to make sure that the guts are cleaned out sometimes by some of the detoxes that work really well. But you have to take it seriously, and it takes work. My dad taught me to respect my tools, and your body is no different. Your body is a tool. Sadly, the stats are real. CDC says 60% of adults over 50 have at least one chronic condition, like arthritis, high blood pressure. 80% of those can be managed with lifestyle changes. I've got friends who started yoga at 55 and swear they feel 30. Others who keep their mind sharp with puzzles or new hobbies. Me? Yeah, I still go shooting. I have my shop and I have sort of hobbies, but they're also, part of my life. I keep my focus tight. I've got to continue to push myself harder than I have in the past. I have also learned I have to stretch. I stretch every single day before I get up because if I don't, my body hurts really bad. I eat better. I eat healthier foods. I listen to my body. That's what took me to the hospital, is because I listened to my body. We took my husband to the hospital the other night. I said he had a glitch. Yeah, his heart started skipping beats and wasn't staying in rhythm. It was a little scary. Makes me worry about him, of course. Now we're waiting on an appointment for him to go see a cardiologist and see what actually is going on. And if it's something simple and something fixable. But today we're going to break down how to stay strong, sharp, and sassy after 50. First, let's hear from you with our dear Margaret. We have some questions that have been sent in, and I try to categorize these all the time to try to have them in the right categories. So I try. I don't always, because sometimes I have different ones that don't fit the bill, but I don't want to let everybody sit for a super, super long time. But anyway, it's Dear Margaret's time. Your questions, my take. Today's all about health after 50, and you've got some real concerns. Let's tackle those. And don't forget, you can email your Dear Margaret questions to Dear Marge, DearMarg, at GurlTauX.com. That's Gurl TauX, GurlTauX.com. You can email those to us there. Squirrel does say, good evening, everyone. So thank you for that. Now let's get to Dear Margaret. It is really interesting. In,
Dear Margaret's here, let's
not
dive
comment.
right in.
Comment on
Bring
the
your
show.
questions, let's begin. Life's a real maze. We'll help you with your coping. Dealing with life in this rat race. Honest thoughts, no sugarcoating.
Tell us your tales, your woes, your gripes. No fluff, no bows, just real life types. Sign it clever, let your pen take flight. We'll serve the truth, sharp and bright.
Send us a query, take a lead. No hidden rules, no secrets to keep. Anonymous wisdom that cuts so deep. Dear Margaret's advice you'll want to reap. But in the end, let's admit, we all really don't care, Margaret.
Ba-da-bum. And I just want to reiterate one more time that my Dear Margaret is my modern take on Dear Abby. And the reason I call it Margaret instead of Tori is because it's a separate segment. But anyway, it was actually came to about because of I loved the interview that JD Vance had with Margaret. I can't remember what her last name is. I only remember her first name. And they were talking about the illegal immigrants and how they were taking over the apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado, among other things. And she said, "Well, it was only one or two." And he said, "I don't really care, Margaret. I don't want these people in my country. I don't want my children having to worry about that." So we do need to think about that. So that's where that came from. And that's my take on Dear Margaret. And like I said again, email them to dearmarge@gurltaux.com. Thanks. Question number 1 is, how do I stay active with joint pain? Dear Margaret, I'm 52 and my knees are killing me. I want to stay active, but it hurts. What can I do? Achy and Albany. Well, achy, I feel you. Joint pain is a beast. Honestly, about 50% of folks over 50 deal with arthritis per the Arthritis Foundation. I have my own aches and pains from years and years of all the work I've done, but I've learned to adapt. Low impact stuff is your friend. Swimming, yoga, even walking. In fact, that's something my husband and I are working on right now. We are adding a secondary pump to our pool, and we have put some black hose on top of the pool house, and we're routing it so water can go into that pump, up through those to heat, putting hot water back into the pool. And we did it with a secondary pump because we still wanted the water to be clean and stuff like that, but we need hot water to go back in there because we're trying to make it so it's a year-round pool so I can do pool yoga and swimming exercise, because I have a lot of major pains and I have a lot of physical ailments and issues that I deal with. I try different types of supplements, and what I can say is, when you try new supplements, try it for a month or 2 before you give up on it, because it might take a month or 2 for it to really actually help you or do anything. Going for a walk. I have a difficult time. I started walking before my mom and I took a cruise to Alaska, and I started walking around my yard. And I just kept adding to it and adding to it. By the time I got done with our actual cruise, I was able to walk like 9 miles. I was so proud of myself. I was doing so good. I was even losing a little bit of weight. But then I stepped on a big, I think it was a magnolia tree nut or whatever that fell from the tree. And I stepped on it in the middle of the night looking for my dog, and it wrecked my foot. And my foot has never been the same since. And I'm working with doctors to try to see if I can fix it. But, it's painful, and pain is the one thing that will make you stop. I can do squats really well, but I can't bend down and pick something up off the floor. Yeah. So, if I do it in a squat, I could. A 2023 study in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activities found 30 minutes of low impact exercise 5 days a week cuts pain by 20%. 20% doesn't sound like much, but it's better than 0%. Also, talk to your doctor about physical therapy or supplements like glucosamine. I stretch before every day when I get up. I stretch quite often. I stretch a lot when I get up to go to the bathroom. I stretch and I walk around. You really got to stretch your body. You got to push yourself. I have to push myself harder than I have. I haven't been pushing myself as much as I need to. And listening to these questions and giving my answers, I feel like I have to practice what I preach. You got to do more. The more you sit, the more sedentary you get, the more uncomfortable you are. But at the same time, it's a catch-22 because you hurt, so you don't want to move. But if you move, it'll help you from hurting. So you got to push yourself through the pain a little bit. And the more you do, the better you'll start feeling. And you'll be doing more and more and more as you add more to it. Walking is a great way, and swimming and yoga are great activities that can help you with that. Question number 2. How do I keep my brain sharp? Dear Margaret, I'm 57 and forgetting things, names, dates, you name it. I'm scared of dementia. How do I keep my mind sharp? Foggy and Flagstaff. Well, that is something that you can go have a little bit of testing done. If you're having some memory issues, I would go talk to your doctor because that is a big worry. My dad had dementia and it was going into Alzheimer's, and it was very scary to watch and see. Foggy memory slips are normal as you age, but I get that fear of dementia. It's a big worry. The Alzheimer's Association says 1 in 3 seniors deal with some cognitive decline, but you can fight it. I keep my focus on what I need to do. And I also feel like I have the ADHD, the adult ADHD, the menopausal ADHD, where I'm fluttering all over the place and I forget what I'm doing, or I go into one room and what the heck did I come in here for? Quite often, though, I can back my steps up, and then I remember what I went in there for, and hopefully I remember by the time I get back. But doing puzzles, crossword, Sudoku, those things are supposed to help. A 2024 study in neurology found brain games can delay memory loss by up to 5 years. Also, staying social, join a book club, call a friend, get involved in some things. You're not quite foggy. You're just warming up. You just need to add some activities that will sharpen your mind, sharpen your skills. I think we all should do those things. Number 3, what about weight gain after 50? Oh, dear God, yeah. Dear Margaret, I'm 54 and gaining weight no matter what I do. My metabolism's shot. Any tips? Frustrated in Fresno. Well, I'll tell you what. I have recently started taking, and I am not doing a full thing on it yet, but I recently just started taking a new, and I'm going to document, a new supplement. And I'm going to see if it actually helps start improving my metabolism, because I have no metabolism. That's why I don't lose weight. I eat super healthy. I don't eat a ton of food. I'm not a foodie. I'm not a junkie, a junk food person. I don't really hardly ever eat fast food. I don't eat a lot of fatty foods. I don't eat pork. I eat very little red meat, mostly chicken, eggs. I don't really eat fish, even though I know I should, but I don't like it. So I eat really, really healthy, and I can't lose weight to save my life. I mean, one of the things that I talked about at one point in time, and you may have heard it if you were on the show, but I got COVID really, really bad when COVID first came out. Probably had it before that too, because I get everything. If you come in with a sniffle, you leave with me having your sniffle, and you probably feel better. But I get everything. So I did get COVID. I got it super, super bad. I got the smell and taste thing that messed up my smell and taste. But when my taste and smell started to come back, it was all gross. Everything tasted rotten. Everything smelled rotten. The smell of meat made me sick. Just about the smell of any food whatsoever made me sick. And not to be TMI here, but TMI, my poop smelled exactly like whatever was cooking, because everything smelled the same, rotten, gross, and like shit. It was horrible. It was horrible. But what it did is made me not want to eat. I did not want to eat. I avoided food like the plague. I drank a little bit of water, but I pretty much stopped eating. I ate very, very, very little. So small amounts of food and liquids that to the point that I ended up finally at the hospital after 3 or 4 months. Um, Something happened. I couldn't explain what it was. We thought it was a mild stroke or something like that. But I ended up at the hospital, and it turned out I was malnutritioned and dehydrated. Malnutritioned. Do you know how much weight I lost during that 3 or 4 months that I was so sick? Not a pound. Didn't lose anything. You'd think after not eating for that long that my body would have started eating some of the fat. No. So I hear you. Metabolism slows about 5% per decade after 50, per a 2023 Mayo Clinic report. I've had to watch it myself. Like I said, I have no metabolism. So you have to work harder. Strength training keys build muscle, which burns more calories. 2024 study in obesity found women over 50 who lifted weights twice a week lost 10% more fat than cardio only folks. Also, eating protein keeps you full. I think we all have precision that we strive for in certain things, and I think we need to aim for that in our meals as well. I have a very difficult time with some of the proteins, like some meats, but I try to compensate with other proteins. I eat a lot of beans, different proteins, but I try not to eat a lot of fatty foods. And especially since I had my gallbladder out, I'm really trying to avoid the fatty foods. Doesn't mean I don't eat any, but I try to be a little bit pickier with it. Keep an eye out and follow what I'm going to be having coming up, because I'm going to do a real true. Other people may have seen these ads for this supplement that's out there that's supposed to help with your metabolism, supposed to help with this whole process. As soon as I get through about a month on that, then I'm going to put out what it is. And if I've noticed any change in the 1 month, it says 2 to 3 months before you're going to significantly see a change. So I'm going to wait until I'm into the 30 days, and then I'll start showing, like, is it actually helping? It's not meant for weight loss, but it's supposed to help with weight loss based on it improving your metabolism. If my metabolism gets better, I will be very happy, because I'm sure that's what's keeping me from losing weight. But you just got to keep pushing yourself, I think, and you got to find different ways. If one thing doesn't work, try something else. Number 4, how do I manage stress as I age? Dear Margaret, I'm 60 and stressed. Kids, grandkids, aging parents, it's affecting my health. How do I cope? Overwhelmed in Omaha. Well, stress is a killer, literally. That'll cause heart issues. Overwhelmed, all I can say is you got to find a way to have some de-stressors, because stress is absolutely a killer. The American Heart Association says chronic stress raises heart disease risks by 40% in folks over 50. I know, like, my past, being in the military, being a journalist, it taught me to channel stress and make it a focus on what I'm doing, and not think about the things that stress me out or upset me. So I have a really good way myself of de-stressing. I just put things out of my mind. Or for me also, the other thing that I do, and I have very little stress, to be honest with you. It's one of my few things I have, but that's because I deal with everything as it happens right then. I don't hold anything in. I think that people should be mindful of not holding on to things. If something upsets you, something bothers you, something is stressful, deal with it, take it on, handle it. If it's a person, deal with them. If it's a thing, deal with that. But if you deal with it head on right away, don't focus on it, don't swallow it and hold on to it. Deal with it and then get rid of it. You'll see some of your stress go out. Even if people get a little irritated with you because you point out things right away, I think it's a better way of dealing with stress than holding on to things, because quite often you'll find that when you confront or you deal with something, it has been a miscommunication all along in the first place, and it wouldn't have caused you much stress if you had dealt with it right away. So you can also channel stress into focus. You can, this thing stresses me out, so focus on something that can alleviate that. Also, there's a lot of talk and there's a lot of truth in mindfulness, meditation, or deep breathing. Doing a lot of those exercises, using some of that stuff when you're trying to go to sleep, because sleep is also a big important thing with de-stressing. 2023 study in JAMA found 10 minutes a day cut stress by 25% of deep breathing and meditation. Also, setting boundaries. That is a big and very important thing for stress. You have to set your boundaries. Sometimes you need to say no. And you need to tell yourself it's okay if I say no. Think about it on the way of shooting a gun, going out on the range and shooting a gun. You aim, you breathe. You have to let it all out before you shoot. Otherwise, your aim is off. You have to steady your heart. That's what we do when you're going to shoot at your target. You steady your heart. And you use breathing exercises to do it. So steady your heart in the same way. You can get rid of some of your stress that way. I think it really is helpful. Anyway, thank you for your Dear Margaret questions. Again, I'm going to tell you one more time. Email your Dear Margaret questions to Dear Marge, DEARMARG @gurltaux.com, GURLTAUX. And then we can talk about it there. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. Health after 50. It's about playing smart, not hard. Let's dive into how to keep your body strong and your mind sharp for the long haul. My mom is 84 years old, and I can still have a good conversation with her. She's still sharp. She's still got her wits about her. She forgets sometimes, but we all do. But she can have a better conversation with you, and you can understand the words coming out of her mouth better than Biden. That's for sure. Let me tell you a few stats. 60% have chronic conditions. Exercise cuts those risks by 30%. So doing some kind of exercise, low impact activities, strength training, regular checkups, going to your doctor and telling them what's going on. You have to do that. I have to do that. We have to adapt and overcome. It's a big saying in the military, adapt and overcome. Well, you kind of have to adapt and overcome your ailments too as you're aging. Your knees hurt, your back hurts. It hurts to do this, it hurts to do that. I'll tell my husband, come sit down, take a break. He's like, no, I got to keep moving. I keep moving, I can keep doing something. Yeah, he's right. You got to keep moving. Low impact exercise for seniors. There are tons and tons of low impact workouts for seniors on YouTube. One's called Silver Sneakers Low Impact Workout 2025. It's the channel is Silver Sneakers. So I'm not going to play that one because I pulled it up. It's literally a clip of them walking. So go pull them up. There's quite a few different ones. If you have aging issues like your achy knees and achy arms and shoulders and back and hips and the different things, you're going to have those things. I will tell you the other thing, don't do stupid shit that you could do when you were 20. You know, I'm going to throw my cousin under the bus, Tim. He's in his 60s, but he got on a Segway and it went out from under him. I don't know how it happened. He was at Disneyland, happiest place on earth, turned out to be a hip replacement surgery because he went flying, and next thing he knows, crash, bang, boom, and now a new hip. Maybe don't do those things at your age, at our ages. I wouldn't get on a Segway now. I used to skateboard when I was younger. I'm not going to do that now. I'm a skier, man. I love skiing. I've loved skiing my whole life. I look at people on ski slopes and I go like, oh my gosh, I would love to do that. I know I can't do that anymore. So I don't have the option of doing that. I just can't do it anymore. I want to, but I can't. I shouldn't. That's the more important thing, is I shouldn't, because that could be very dangerous. I wore this hat today, Suck It Up Buttercup, because sometimes we really do have to suck it up when we're doing things that push us a little harder. You know, there are different things that you can do to sharpen your skills and sharpen your body, and you have to find ways. You have to find ways of looking at the glass as half full instead of half empty. Like, where can you go to find something new that can make you do do different things that will help improve your body, improve your skills, improve your mind. What is it that you can do to improve that? So one of the ways that you can do that is, like I said, there are tons and tons of things on YouTube that you can go and pull up that can help you find possible answers to these problems, and you can use them to improve yourself and improve how you feel about things. Let's watch this little video that I found.
There is no magic pill to reverse the aging process, but if you want to counter the biological mechanisms that drive age-related conditions, like the accumulation of senescent cells, you will need to exercise.
Just being more active throughout your day appears to be sufficient to reduce kind of the burden of senescent cells in an individual.
Many people tend to lead sedentary lifestyles when they age, but Dr. Nathan LeBrosser says older adults should find ways to become more active throughout the day.
Dedicating time, purposeful time, to getting some form of aerobic exercise or endurance exercise like walking or cycling or swimming, and also getting some form of strength training is critically important.
He says just adding 30 minutes of activity daily can be beneficial.
Higher levels of physical activity or intensities of physical activity may have benefits for muscle strength or bone health or maybe even cognitive health and function.
For the Mayo Clinic News Network, I'm Sonia Goins.
See,
there is no magic pill to
that's an important part that we don't think about. Is it feels better sometimes just to sit, because I just hurt when I get up and move, it hurts when I do things, but is that hurting you more by not doing something than it would if you just went ahead and did a little bit more. Would that help you more? According to this study, yeah, it will, because you need to move more. Um, I mean, just like, on your phone, if you do puzzle games and you learning a new language, all those things help your mind. Excuse me. Um, m- taking excuse me, getting a puzzle and putting it on a table and finding all the puzzle pieces and putting those puzzle pieces, those are good for your mind. Um, 150 minutes of moderate exercise weekly. 150 minutes. That's like 30 minutes a day. Um, it would improve your overall physical health. But what about your mental health? If you do 30 minutes of um, uh, one of the things about your mind is, as you start losing your cognitive skills and your cognitive abilities, you start realizing that you are not as sharp as you once were. So it can be mentally fatiguing to your mind. Like, it can start, you start telling yourself that I don't have it anymore. I'm not as good as I once was. And when you do that, that can make you mentally think negative thoughts and think poorly of yourself, where you need to think about what is positive. And sometimes that's hard to do, but you have to put yourself out there, get some videos. There's so much, like I said, there's so much on YouTube that you can actually watch and not have to pay to go to a gym or whatever, that you can watch and learn from.
Aging can be a balancing
Oh,
act, and
let
according
me
to Mayo
start
Clinic
that over
research,
again.
your
Hold
ability
on.
to
Sorry,
balance on
sorry.
one leg can be a
There's no
meaningful measure of
sound.
aging.
Well, this was a
There's
study
no
looking at
sound. Let's
markers of
start that over again. This one is standing on one leg can tell you how you're aging. But let me actually put sound to it this time.
Aging can be a balancing act, and according to Mayo Clinic research, your ability to balance on one leg can be a meaningful measure of aging.
Well, this was a study looking at markers of aging in older adults.
40 healthy, independent, community-dwelling people over age 50 underwent various tasks known to be markers of aging, including balance.
So that we were comparing different markers of aging and trying to see which one was the most predictive of declines with aging.
Dr. Kaufman says if someone can stand with all of their weight on one leg for 30 seconds, they're doing very well.
Balance is complicated. It involves many different systems. It involves your vision, your vestibular system, your somatosensory system, and your neuromuscular system. All those have to work in coordinated fashion to keep you on one leg.
All of those systems deteriorate with age and increase the risk of falls. The good news is it's never too late to improve your balance. It just takes practice.
Try it at home. It's very simple, easy to do, it's quick. If you are unable to stand on your leg for at least 5 seconds, then it's important that there's probably something that you need to do to improve your balance because you're at risk of falling.
For the Mayo Clinic News Network, I'm Dee Dee Stephen.
That's an interesting thing to know about and to think about. We can find different things like this one on the Mayo Clinic, as well as other sites that can help you to even determine certain things yourself. I mean, it's really important for you to start looking at different things that help you age and what can give you longevity and what can make you feel stronger and feel better. Not everything works for everyone the same way. So what you have to do is find the little that will help you and use those to your advantage. Not everything works the same. Not everybody works the same. Not every person works the same. Try using some of the puzzles and learning things that can help with your sharpness of your mind. Exercising 30 minutes a day. And that includes yoga, chair yoga, pool exercises, walking, doing a short workout 2 videos. And when you think about that, 30 minutes, you could put like 5-10 minutes every hour or every hour and a half of your day and just go do 5 minutes of a stronger exercise, like walking farther, walking faster, um, pulling up a video and doing a 3 or 4 or 5 minute workout, or do a full 30 minutes at one time. For me right now, because of how bad my health is, I would have to do 5 or 10 minutes at a time and until I got up to 30 minutes, and then add a few minutes every day until I could turn that 30 minutes into a one-time 30 minutes, because right now I don't think I could do anything for 30 minutes straight. So you have to adjust as you go. And then meditation and social connections are so important. They're important for our mental health, our mind health, our keeping our skills sharp, keeping your speaking abilities. Like for me, I have to think about this and I have to put myself out there because I spend all day alone with my dogs. I go up and talk to my mom. And I, of course, talk to my husband when I'm home, and then I come out and I talk to all of you. But you have to put yourself out there and get some socialization, because social skills are an important part of your mental health as well as your overall physical health. So you need to think about the whole picture in it. I have another one I'm going to share with you real quick. And I think as we go through this aging process, as people over 50, then over 60 and over 70 and so on, you have to continuously think about this. Whereas when we were in our 20s and 30s, we probably didn't do a whole lot of thinking about it. And I think that's probably one of those things that actually is not good for us.
Hi everyone, welcome to a new
think about it. We just did whatever it is that we did, and we didn't think too much about
series on my channel, Aging Well for Women.
Could harm
Hi
us.
everyone, welcome.
We just did what felt good at the time. And sometimes when you get older, you're now I'm now paying for those things that I did that I didn't think about. And I think about something my grandmother used to say: if I knew then what I know now, I would have told myself to be better to my body, to take care of my body better. And I wish I would have listened to my mom, my grandmother. I think none of us listen to our elders. They give us that good advice and we think we know better. I don't know about that. Let's listen to this.
Hi everyone, welcome to a new series on my channel, Aging Well. Hi everyone.
Let's put the volume on, lady. I keep forgetting. I silence it while I bring it up because sometimes it starts playing right away and I don't want it interfering.
Hi everyone, welcome to a new series on my channel, Aging Well for Women Over 40. It's going to be based on this book here from Mayo Clinic Press, Ageless Aging by longevity expert Maddie Dykewell. Now I did film a video already to share a little bit more about Maddie and why we would want to learn from her, so I'll link that down below. But she is someone who has a unique perspective, not only being a woman who is aging, but someone who has decades worth of experience on women and aging based on her own research. So she is an author and a speaker, but also a researcher and a social scientist on longevity in the aging population. But she has been involved with pretty landmark research regarding women and things outside of just when you think of health span or brain span that she talks about in the book here with our cognitive abilities or our mental health and our physical health. And she has this holistic approach that she wants to help us customize a plan to look at things outside of just our health, but also things like our finances and housing and sense of purpose. So this holistic approach that I really haven't seen a lot of other longevity experts cover, especially with regards to us as women who are aging. So I was excited to form this kind of online book club with you guys, so all of us will get the book. And what I'll do is just each chapter I'll sit down and share with you my key takeaways from the book. So today I want to share with you my
I think I'm going to get that book myself and see what I can gather from that book too, because learning is something that we should continue to do throughout our lives. You shouldn't have that mindset that I've learned everything, I know everything, I don't know shit. I know a lot, but there's a lot more that I don't know than what I do know. So we can formulate new ideas, new ways of doing things by researching ourselves, finding new ways, finding new paths. I don't want to do things just with doctors and medicines myself. So I'm trying my hardest to do as much as I can holistically because I just don't trust a bunch of drugs. I don't want a bunch of drugs in my system. I don't want to be drugged out of my mind. And I don't know what the long-term effects are on so many of these drugs that they have out there for this or that, because especially, I mean, we've all listened to them. This could cause this, this, and this, and death. I'd rather stick with the problem I have.
Key takeaways from the introductory chapter that Maddie has titled The Longevity Bonus. Now, early on in the chapter, she shares some statistics. As far as 100 years ago, our average lifespan was about 47 years old. And by the end of the century, we were living an additional 3 decades longer to around the age of 79, and that makes sense given the advancements in medicine and technology and things like that. Now, Maddie mentioned that we as women live typically around 6 years longer than men. That's what she calls the longevity bonus. So that's the title of this introductory chapter. But one thing that I thought was pretty sobering when I was reading this chapter was she talked about, yes, we do live longer, but a lot of the times us women, the last decade or so of our life, we're not necessarily living well. Where we're dealing with some degenerative diseases such as cancer and diabetes and heart disease and things like that. In fact, in this first chapter, she talks about how us as women, long before we may reach our final years of our life, that we're often worrying about outliving our money and the care that we may require. And I think those things are so valid, and I don't necessarily see a ton of people talking about that as us, again, as women experiencing that. But Maddie wants to help.
I think that was important. What she said is living well. You have to find ways to live well, not just live. That's the whole point behind my 50s series is thriving, not just surviving. Because some of those things start hitting you at a much earlier stage than somebody in their 50s versus somebody in their 70s or 80s. I have worse physical issues than my mom does at 84. Now, she still has some limitations, and most of hers have come probably in the last 5 years. So between 70 and 80, my mom was in better physical health than I was. That is something hard to take mentally for me, so I have to work on it, and I'm behind the 8 ball working on it now at 54. I should have been working on this at 45, 40.
Us not have the downsides to aging, things like that, crowd out the upsides. And there are upsides, right? The wisdom that comes from aging that we just can't get until we grow older, the experience that we have, the resiliency that we build, things like that. And largely, there's a bunch of lifestyle factors that we can have control over, that we can change, and that we can customize for ourselves. Again, in this book, she helps us do that to be able to age well. In fact, she believes that us women should be leading the longevity revolution because, obviously we're the ones that live longer. I just really appreciate her passion in helping us as women to age well. Now, in this introductory chapter, she does share the information regarding her own personal journey with aging, and I really love how candid she is. Now, she talks about her own journey with having to have surgery on both hips, despite leading a healthy lifestyle due to a genetic hip dysplasia, I believe is what it was. But she was very frank and just said, hey, all of us, when we get to be 40s, or in our 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s, we've seen some stuff, right? We've lived through some stuff. And the good news is, we can build our resiliency from that, and we grow as a person from that. But she recognizes that. She doesn't sugarcoat anything. But I appreciate she shares her own personal journey. But again, the collective wisdom.
I think the more honest we are with our own physical journeys, with people, our friends, for me on this show, so it makes you a little more real. Like when I listen to some people that I'm like, okay, you're going to lecture me on this, or this, when, especially like celebrities, when you have the money like Oprah had the money to hire a chef and a personal trainer and all that. The average person doesn't have that resource. So, for someone else to lecture on, you should do this when you don't have the resources that they do. I like more real persons, real journey, real stories, real impact, real issues. Let's be more real about it. And also people that hide what they're really going through because they don't want to feel vulnerable. I think sometimes it's important for us to be a little bit more vulnerable so that we can be honest with ourselves. And when you're honest with yourself and you're honest with someone else, it's actually how it's going to help you better, because then you're facing the truth of what you're dealing with. I think that's very important.
Of the people and the experts that she's had access to in her own research that she's done, and the decades worth of experience where she's dedicated so much of her personal and professional life to this and helping us age well. She's going to help us be able to create this customized plan with her book. Now, you guys, you can get the book on Maddie's website. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Mayo Clinic's website. But I want to tell you, I don't know how long it might be there, but Maddie has some really neat bonuses that if you go to her website, you just put in your order number and you'll be able to download, including the finances that I mentioned, some bonus material that she has. So my key takeaways from this introductory chapter was that our health span doesn't necessarily match up with our lifespan. And obviously the resources that Maddie shares in our book is going to help us to change that. And so these downsides that we might be currently afraid of, being afraid to get older, can be something that we look at very differently because we're going to experience aging very differently. You guys, even in chapter 1, there's something that's really neat that I can't wait for you to have the book in front of you if you don't already have it, because there's an assessment tool. And Maddie talks about us aging as an ascent, that it doesn't have to be something where we're just deteriorating. But the assessment that she created that we will go over in chapter 1 is you'll look through there and you will see some things that you might be doing that are accelerating your aging. And there might be things that you're doing that are slowing your aging. And there's some things that you might have some aha moments, or there just might be some things that are friendly reminders that you already knew. But I thought it was a pretty useful tool that we will cover next. So the next video I'll just share with you my key takeaways from chapter 1. We'll kind of just work through the book together that way. So again,
all right. So anyway, you can go on and order that book if you'd like to. I think I'm going to order the book because I think it would be good for myself. It's important for us to find things that can give us an advantage. And not everything is an advantage, but there are some things that are an advantage. And I think we need to look at those out there. This is the book here again. It's Ageless Aging. And that's by Maddie Dykewald. I think that's her name. So look that up, see if you can get that. I think I'm going to get that book and see if it'll help me myself. And I will share that journey with you as we go. And maybe once a week or something, I'll do an update about how that is going with that book. I'm going to leave that up there for just a minute so that you can write that down if you need to grab a pen or something like that. But that's very important. There is so many things that we don't think about, and we don't put our mind to, but we have to look at aging and our minds and our bodies and how to sync them together and how to make them work for us. There is CDC's physical activity guidelines for older adults. That is right in the CDC exercise guidelines for 50 or over 50. If you just look that up on Google, there's actually, CDC, as much as people look at CDC as a bad thing. I've done some articles when I was a journalist with CDC, and they do have some good information out there. So CDC does have the physical activity guidelines for older adults. It doesn't mean that it's a definitive that's what you have to do, but think about it from the aspect of there are a lot of things that you can do that you might not have thought about. And as weird as it is, I've kind of gone through all of our stuff that I had prepped for today's show. So I might cut this show a little short at an hour. Being that I already covered pretty much everything, Health After 50 is about aiming for strength and clarity. What are your health goals? Getting definitive with what your health goals are. Tell us in the comments. Send your Dear Margaret questions. And don't forget, you can email them to Dear Marge, DEARMARG, at gurltaux.com, GURLTAUX. Tomorrow we are going to do one more Life After 50. So that one is going to be Purpose After 50, finding your why. I think it's important that we continue to strive for more, continue to strive for better. I'm always continuously striving to better myself and make myself better. And I stumble and I fall. I slip. It's 1 or 2 steps forwards, 1 or 2 steps back, 3 or 4 steps forwards, 5 back, 10 forward, 3 back. And it's a constant battle that I fight because I have physical limitations. I have physical issues that I deal with. So I'm constantly trying to find a solution and an answer to those problems so that I can get back into a better health and a better shape. My goal is to be in a much better condition by 55. That's not very far away. That's July. And then I will set a new goal for 56, 57. My full goal is by the time I reach my 60th birthday, I want to be as healthy and as good as I am 10, 20 years earlier. Physically, mentally, I need to get myself there. But you can do it too. I mean, there are resources out there. There's books out there. And like I said, there's tons and tons of YouTube videos out there that can help you if you just seek them out. There's always a way to make yourself better and improve. You can stay strong, stay bold, stay alert, stay powerful, stay focused if you just keep trying to do more and give yourself grace when you need it, space when you need it, but don't use grace and space as an excuse not to do something. Go for a walk, go push yourself a little further each day, just a little bit. And that little bit will become a bigger bit, bigger and bigger until you're like, wow, look at what I'm doing. Anyway, until then, stay strong, stay alive, thrive. Don't just survive. Just because you're over 50 or you're a girl dealing with all sorts of issues, you can be younger than that and still be dealing with stuff. I say strive to thrive, not just survive. So that's what I'm going to try to be doing. I'm going to do it more and more and more. And if we all just do that, imagine what a better place we would all be in. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Again, don't forget to send in your Dear Margaret questions to dearmarge@gurltaux.com. If you have any questions for me directly, it's Tori@gurltaux.com. And I appreciate you all, as always, being here. And don't forget to like, subscribe to my channel, become part of my tribe. And I will see you tomorrow. We got one more of our, Purpose After 50 in our Life After 50 series, Finding Your Why. That'll be a good show. All right. Well, I will talk to you all soon. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you for watching Gurl TauX live broadcast, which airs weekdays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Don't forget to send in your Dear Margaret questions. Then join us for our opinion-based answers. time to be with us tonight. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and share with your friends. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good night.